Greetings. I've been asked to go in on this topic from a good friend of mine, Brother T. Williams Bay. And the name of this topic is It Was All a Dream. And the reason why it is titled It Was All a Dream is because you've been living in a dream world ever since you came out of your mother's womb. Those who have no knowledge on what I'm about to discuss. And Biggie Smalls, he told you, and his first album, that it was all a dream. And the Gap Band told you as well. They said, life is but a dream, and nothing comes to sleepers but a dream. You've been living in a dream world this whole time. Now, as you can see, it's on my screen, looking at a birth certificate. From the Commonwealth of Virginia, as they call it. But the main thing that they're not telling you is that when you look at this, let's analyze it a bit closer. As you can see up at the top, it has the Commonwealth of Virginia spelled in legal fiction. So you've been processed since day one on this earth to be subsumed and to carry out your existence under legal fiction. See the names of the people. I don't know who these people are, but as you can see, it says mother's place of birth for whoever birth certificate this is. Austria. I even made that a legal fiction. Father's place of birth, Rhode Island, legal fiction. This whole thing is a legal fiction. Which is sad, because this places you in a state right off the rip of civiliter mortuus, civilly dead in the eyes of the law. And it's just not Virginia. You also have Louisiana, legal fiction. You have Texas, legal fiction. Corporations cannot have citizenry. Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, Chuck E. Cheese. Who else? Sam's Club, Target. None of these people can have legal fictions. They can have employees. Excuse me, not legal fictions, but citizens. They cannot have citizens. They can have employees. They cannot have citizens. So you were set up to be a revenue generating commodity right off the gate. Right out the gate. State of Texas, legal fiction. Born into a state of civiliter mortuus, civilly dead in the eyes of the law instead of being in plena vita. And state of California, as you can see, same thing. So this is a sad situation, but we're going to go into it to discuss how it came to be this way and what you need to do about it. And it's not hard as you think. It's just that people don't read, they don't study. They like to sit back on a Sunday with their Sunday afternoon football, beef and bean, burrito belly having asses, and play video games and watch sports and all this other type of shit. They're not interested in this. They like being slaves, pretty much. All right. This here comes from Style Manual, Official Guide to the Form and Style of Federal Government Publishing. This is 2016 GPO Writing Style Guide. keeping America informed. Well, they put it out there. They put it out there. And this right here tells you how things are supposed to be written. Authenticated U.S. government information. This document is already authenticated. This right here places it under Rules of Evidence 902, the eagle in the left-hand corner. But what we're going to do, we're going to go to capitalization, page 27. And should be pulling it up. Should be. For some reason it's not. I'll just have to manually find it. You could read it for yourself. Capitalization rules. What we want is section 3.2, historic or documentary accuracy. Where historic, documentary, technical, or scientific accuracy is required, capitalization and other features, style of the original text should be followed. Proper names. You know, proper names go with proper nouns. Proper nouns encompasses persons, places, and things. So therefore, if you're dealing with a natural person, flesh and blood, you understand that the person has an appellation. What is also known in standard rules of English grammar as proper names. Since proper names are capitalized, they give you Rome, show you examples. Rome, John McAdam, Italy, Brussels, Belgium, McAdam family, Anglo-Saxon. So they've given you an example of how proper name as a proper noun should reflect a living person. John McAdam. They've given you a place. And they've given you, that's pretty much it. But as you can see, you get the gist of it. Now this right here, once again, it comes from their manuals. And let's take a look at what they say for all capital letters. I may have to do a massive scroll down once again. Let's see. What I'll do is I'll just get you down here to where it talks about all capital letters. Okay, here we go. They talk about abbreviation and letter symbols. As you can see here, This says geographic terms. It has United States, how it's supposed to be spelled. United States must be spelled out when appearing in a sentence containing the name of another country. The abbreviation US will be used when preceding the word government, which is a thing, or the name of a government organization, which is a thing in regards to nouns. But they tell you for the geographical location, it's a proper noun, and it's upper and lower case. So that lets you know who you're dealing with when you see this stuff on documentation. You're not dealing with the trust organization of a geographical location. You're dealing with a legal fiction, and then it's legal creation. Okay? Y'all need to study this manual. Okay? I'm trying to get to the part where it talks about descriptions, names, and titles. Let me see. Time zones. Okay, here we go. Use of all capital letters when only the first letter of each word or selected word is used to make up the symbol. So it lets you know this acronym is a symbol. We call it symbols. I'm telling you that right here. Use of all capital letters when the first letters or prefixes and suffixes are utilized as part of established expressions. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, extrasensory perception, forward-looking infrared. So once again, this manual, it's the GPO. You need to study that. It's in the OneDrive. Now, this manual right here, writing style guide and preferred usage for Department of Defense issuances. Military, Department of Defense issuances. You see the date? Let's go down here to page 6. Names of ships and military exercises. Names of ships and military exercises. Always use all caps for the names of ships, i.e. USS Agile, USNS Impeccable. Not that. In military exercises, Operation Southern Watch, not Operation Southern Watch. So they tell you that as a noun, which a ship is a thing, they capitalize the names of things that are vessels in the military, and the names of things, because Operation Southern Watch, it's not a person, it's not a place, it's a thing. Capitalize the name of it, of a thing. So when they're capitalizing your name, we're going to talk about why your name, or what they call your name, the legal fiction that they created, appearing in the all caps, and how it got that way. But you can go back and read this. Once again, it's in the OneDrive. You see it for yourself, what it is. It's in the language folder. Both of those books are in the language folder. Now, we're going to talk about how this thing got this way. Some of this stuff I've covered in previous videos. This is nothing new to you. You know, you should already be familiar with this if you've kept up with my videos. But this is the presidential inauguration Address of Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933. This is when he converted the so-called government that you have today, or that's in occupation today, into a democracy from a constitutionally established de jure Republican form of government. You now have a military, admiralty, maritime, corporate democracy that's in place, it's in occupation. But he did it under war powers. He did it under war powers. The sad part about it is no one challenged him. There was only one man that stood up and challenged him, which was Jacob Thorkelson, a representative Republican from Montana. And they quickly got him out of Congress. The bankers put money behind someone who was in agreement with what was going on. And they made sure he didn't get reelected. He didn't get any other terms. So Franklin D. Roosevelt, a Democrat, since you people love Democrats so much, most of you people, and I'm not either party. I don't deal in their politics, man. I just deal with indigenous issues. But a lot of our people are trapped over there, and they don't know. He's the one that administratively enslaved everyone underneath the democracy by making them sureties for the debt via the birth certificate, social security card, all of those things, and reducing you from a natural person to a thing with a symbol or all capital letters brand under the military, democracy, admiralty, maritime, occupational form of government that you have today. And this right here, let's just go through this real quick. You could read this. This is in the OneDrive as well, incriminating evidence folder. I have his inaugural addresses. But he says, but in the event the Congress shall fail to take one of these two courses, and in the event that the national emergency is still critical, I shall not evade the clear course of duty that will then confront me. I shall ask the Congress for the one remaining instrument to meet the crisis: broad executive power to wage war. War. There you go. Against the emergency, as great as the power that would be given to me if we were in fact invaded by a foreign foe. Now, type in democracy so you can see for yourself. He says in the same document, we do not distrust the future. Future is the key word. He was letting you know that this is what's to come at that time, of an essential. Essential means necessary. He did this under what's called the doctrine of necessity. Y'all need to look that up. Of essential democracy. Okay? He already letting you know he was changing it. He's getting ready to bring in the democracy. Now, let's take a look at the Constitution, the signature line of the organic written Constitution of 1787. As you can see, these are the various representatives for the states that is signed on. As you can see, there's Delaware, written in script or cursive, uppercase, lowercase. There's Maryland, uppercase, lowercase. There's Virginia, uppercase, lowercase. North Carolina, uppercase, lowercase. South Carolina, uppercase, lowercase. Georgia, uppercase, lowercase. Pennsylvania, uppercase, lowercase. New Jersey, uppercase, lowercase. New York, Connecticut, uppercase, lowercase. Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, all uppercase, lowercase. So you can see how this thing was actually written and how it was signed. These are not legal fictions. They were signed as the representatives signed this thing as representatives of the trust agreement of a given geographical location. The reason why I say given geographical location, you have to go back to my earlier videos where I talk about the age of empires and the born stone by the Canaanite, Phoenician, Carthaginian, Punic, Iberian, Al-Moroccan, current Al-Moroccan Empire, and go into ecclesiastical law dealing with landmarks, as it talks about in the Old Testament. You have to go back to my old videos and look that up. But these are geographical, these are trust agreements of the current geographical location known as the states of Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and the various other ones. Now, we're going to go to the statutes at large and see how they have these states written. All right. This is for Arkansas. Okay. Let's take a look at it. An act for the admission of, once again, standard rules of English grammar, upper and lower case, state of Arkansas into the Union. Provide for the due execution of the laws of, once again, uppercase and lowercase, 10-mile square District of Columbia, United States, within the same. First, it was a territory of Arkansas. You see how they have it, uppercase and lowercase. Then you come on down to where they're getting ready to make them a state. And it also says that the state of Arkansas, uppercase and lowercase, shall be one. Is hereby declared to be one of the United States of America. That's all the land outside of the 10-mile square district. One of the quote unquote 48 continental states, and the two that were brought on, Hawaii and Alaska, in 1959. Of course, there are some things about that because by 1959 the United States was a total democracy. Only people that have power to make states is the Republic in constitutional de jure fashion. But as you can see, this is how it's written in statutes. United States of America, not all caps. State of Arkansas, not all caps. Trust establishment for a geographical location. Okay, let's go here. This is Texas. This is talking about the annexation. Annexing Texas to the United States. All right. Look how they have it. Once again, upper and lower case, United States, the Republic of Texas. There you have it, upper and lower case, erected into a new state, upper and lower case, to be called the state of Texas, upper and lower case. Standard rules for English grammar, GPO writing style manual, once again, with a Republican form of government, not a democracy. All the states were guaranteed this. Okay? And to be adopted by the people of said republic. Okay? So as you can see, all of this is following the standard rules of English grammar. They're not even dealing in legal fictions. Okay? That's Texas. All right? This is California. Okay, whereas the people of California, you see California, upper and lower case, represented a constitution, which is this state charter, trust. Once again, you're dealing with trust. Grantor, trustees are the elected officials, people, beneficiaries. All right. So let's go and look at how they have it. State of California. Once again, United States of America to be one. Hereby declared to be one of the United States of America. Everything outside the 10-mile square admitted to the Union. There you go. With the original states, those that actually were signatures to the Constitution, in all respects, whatever. Okay? Republican forms of government. Okay? So you can see this. Same thing. State of California. Upper and lower case. That's not how they have it on the birth certificate. So whatever is on that birth certificate is not a party to this. It's not a party to it. It's a legal fiction. This is the trust corporation of an organic geographical location. So you've been displaced. You've been displaced out of all of this. Okay? And this is for all of the so-called states. Okay? Look at Mississippi. People of Mississippi. You see Mississippi, upper and lower case. All right? Upper and lower case. State of Mississippi. Right here. Hold on. State of Mississippi, upper and lower case. You're seeing it for yourself. They know what they're doing. Okay? Now this is Hawaii, 1959. Okay? Still then. State of Hawaii. You see it? United States of America. You see it? So you can see for yourself what they're doing. All right? So now you know the difference between legal fiction and standard rules of English grammar. The law applies to proper nouns, persons, places, things. The law applies substantively to nouns, and dealing with natural persons, you have to be in proper noun fashion. Other than that, stuff doesn't apply to you. The law don't apply to you. You have no rights, no protections. You're a fiction. Okay? Okay. Let's come on out of there. This case is called the Propeller Genesee Chief versus Fitzhugh. 53 U.S. 443. It's a very interesting case. I want to take a look at some things. First and foremost, we're going to show you why you're under admiralty. Because it's been invoked for the safety and convenience of commerce. All right? You type in a keyword and get you here. Now remember, Franklin D. Roosevelt, through the doctrine of necessity, he called it essential democracy. He's the one that placed you with wartime powers underneath a military admiralty corporate democracy. He did that. And it's still here. Every time they say democracy, they're invoking or letting you know, and you don't challenge it, you have nothing for the record. You're in agreement of what he set in place 86 years ago. Okay? 86 plus years ago. Now, let's look at this. All right, again, the Union is formed upon the basis of equal rights among all the states. Courts of Admiralty, boom. Courts of Admiralty have been found necessary hold on, in all commercial countries, not only for the safety and convenience of commerce, safety and convenience of commerce, and the speedy decision of controversies, where delay would often be ruin, but also to administer the laws of nations, international law, in a season of war. See, now as I was saying, It says, in a season of war, he asked, remember, in his inaugural address, he asked for broad, sweeping legislation, as in a time of war. He did this under the war powers that he was granted. Essential democracy under the doctrine of necessity. Go look it up. Read it for yourself. Go study the doctrine of necessity. Better yet, let's type that in. The doctrine of necessity is a basis on which extra means over and above, outside of, actions by state actors, which are designed to restore order, are found to be constitutional. The doctrine of necessity has since been applied to a number of Commonwealth countries. In 2010 was invoked to justify extra legal actions in Nigeria. Okay. The funny part about it is you can't change the form of government. The Constitution is what it is. And you can read that in American Jurisprudence, Volume 16, second edition. You can go in there and read about emergencies. It tells you emergencies cannot override the Constitution. They can't do it. So, as you can see, the doctrine of necessity is based on which extra legal actions by state actors are designed to restore order found to be constitutional. It also includes the ability of a private person to violate a law without punishment where the violation of law was necessary to prevent even worse harm. The maxim on which the doctrine is based originated in the writings of the medieval jurist Henry D. Bracton. Similar justifications for this kind of extra legal action have been advanced by more recent legal authorities, including William Blackstone. But you can go and study about the doctrine of necessity and go and compare it to American jurisprudence, okay, and read about emergencies, the effect of emergencies. And it tells you that emergencies cannot override the Constitution. Can't do it. He didn't have the right to change the government to a democracy, thereby removing you out from underneath the de jure form of government. Just like they didn't have the right to rump legislate the 14th Amendment, and that fraud was brought to the light as well. So you go and you study that. But let's get back to this. In a season of war, this is once again the Capella Genesee Chief case versus Fitzhugh, and to determine the validity of captures and questions of prize. That's what these police officers are doing. They've been given letters, and these state troopers and all of these people, they've been given letters of marque and reprisal. And when they ride up on you, and there is no corpus delicti, because a natural person has rights under the law, and one of them is the rights to face his accuser, and they must bring forth the injured party. Corpus delicti, somebody who has sustained injury, either in their physical being or either their property. Like, for example, let's say you're walking down the street, on the sidewalk, of course, and somebody comes speeding over the hill, and they jump the curve and almost hit you, and you have to jump out the way and sprain your ankle. In the process, they caused you an injury. You know, their actions caused you an injury. So then you sue them for the doctor bills and all of that stuff. You say, hey man, this man came speeding over the hill, man, you know, and jumped the curve and almost hit me, and I had to jump out the way to sprain my ankle in the process. He was going so damn fast in that damn Foley Park dope fiend rental. I barely had time to get out the way. All right, that is an injury that you have sustained because of his actions. Therefore, to him, you are the corpus delicti. You're the injured party. Or you're walking your dog on the sidewalk, and this person comes speeding over the hill, jumps the curve. You make it out the way uninjured, but he hits your dog, okay, and kills your dog. All right, now you sustain damage to your property because that dog belongs to you. So, as a natural person, in proper standing, not as a legal fiction, this is what they took all away from you. You follow what I'm saying? They put everything, law, equity, and admiralty, it's all under one form of action called civil action. You can go and look it up. But when these police they ride down on you, you don't have any corpus delicti. Hey, you got a tail light out. You know, you ain't injured nobody because your tail light is out. But you got to come to court and you got to pay the fine. Well, that's capture and prize. Or he pulls you over and nothing's wrong with your vehicle. He just wanted to be an asshole. And you ask him, man, why you stop me? And he gets smart with you. And all of a sudden, man, he gives you some bullshit talking about what do they call it? Interfering with an investigation. All that is capture and prize. They're operating under admiralty. They're pirates. That's exactly what they are. Because they're not in their lawful status as well. It says to determine questions of prize or no prize in a judicial proceeding. Okay? Not only are they pirates, they're also enforcing the adhesion contract that goes along with the so-called driver's license of the legal fiction that is listed on there. That's not you. All you got to do is pull it out your pocket. Pull your credit card out your pocket. Pull light, water, gas bill, whatever you may have, contractual wise, out of your pocket. 99.9% of the time, it's in this legal fiction. It's all caps. They're not talking to you. They're talking to their corporation. But because you don't know any better, you assume that you're the corporation. You have assumed the presumption, their presumption that you are that legal fiction. Okay? And it will be contrary to the first principles on which the Union was formed to confine these rights to the states bordering on the Atlantic and to the tidewater rivers connected with it, and to deny them to them, the citizens who border on the lakes, deny them to the citizens who border on the lakes and the great navigable streams which flow through the western states. Certainly such was not the intention of the framers of the Constitution, and is such to be the construction finally given to it by this court. It must be necessary to produce great public inconvenience, at the same time fail to accomplish one of the great objects of the framers of the Constitution. Okay? Now, they're already letting you know. They're setting this thing. They already started to do this thing back then in 1851. We're going to go even deeper, man. Hold on for a second. Let me type in the keywords so you can read. You can go back and read this case when you got time. I'm just giving you some highlights of it because I really don't have time to go into it, but this is in the OneDrive as well, law and related matters folder, and I'm just covering this because one of the good Moors asked me to do this. Okay. Now, this is where they start to drag. This is also where they begin to plot and plan to drag admiralty upon the land. Okay. This law gives jurisdiction to a certain extent over commerce and navigation to authorize the court to expound the laws that regulate them, but the jurisdiction to administer the existing laws upon these subjects is certainly not a regulation within the meaning of the Constitution. And this act of Congress merely creates a tribunal to carry the laws in execution, but does not prescribe them. Okay? Nor can the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States be made to depend on regulations of commerce. They are entirely distinct things having no necessary connection with one another and are conferred in the Constitution by separate and distinct grants. The extent of the judicial power is carefully defined and limited. And Congress cannot enlarge it to suit even the wants of commerce, nor for the convenient execution of its commercial regulations. And the limits fixed by the Constitution to the judicial authority of the courts of the United States form an inseparable objection to this law if its validity depended on the commercial power. Okay? This power is as extensive upon land as upon water. The Constitution makes no distinction in that respect. And if the admiralty jurisdiction in matters of contract and torts, which the court of the United States may lawfully exercise on the high seas, can be extended to the lakes under the power to regulate commerce, then look at this. It can, with the same propriety and upon the same construction, be extended to contracts and torts on land when the commerce is between different states. And it may embrace also the vehicles and persons engaged in carrying it on. It would be in the power of Congress to confer admiralty jurisdiction upon its courts over the cars engaged in transporting passengers or merchandise from one state to another, and over the persons engaged in conducting them, and to deny to the parties the trial by jury. Okay? Now, the judicial power in cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction has never been supposed to extend to contracts made on land. Everything you do today is in contract, people, and it is between different states. The all capitals state of California is not the statutory trust establishment for a given geographical location of state of California, upper and lower case. Two different states. One is in the republic, one is in the democracy. And the contracts, the democracies, you know what you're under. In the contracts, what governs them over in the democracy. Made on land and to be executed. It says, let's go back. Now, the judicial power in cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction has never been supposed to extend the contracts made on land to be executed on land. But if the power of regulating commerce can be made the foundation of jurisdiction in its courts, this is all they're doing, man. They're regulating commerce. Contracts is commerce. Bonds is commerce. Traffic tickets is commerce. Municipal bonds, commerce. Statutes or policies or ordinances, commerce today. That's all they're doing. And you're the underlying belly of it. You're the driving force. And that as legal fiction that you presume that was you and didn't know any better. And the new and extended admiralty jurisdiction beyond its heretofore known and admitted limits may be created on water under that authority. The same reason would justify the same exercise of power on land. So you go and read this case. Okay? It's a pretty good case. As far as the history, how they dragged this shit up on the land. Alright? So, now, that being said, what governs commerce today? It's the Uniform Commercial Code. Everything is under the code. Don't let these people fool you. If they are operating as in its legal fiction, all caps, corporate entity, they dealing through the code. Okay? So, this is a case, 1993 Federal Appeals case, Southworth Machinery Company, Incorporated versus F.V. Corey Pride and others. Okay? See what it says about the UCC. As you can see, they bring in the Uniform Commercial Code. But this is not the trick I'm getting ready to show you. Okay? This is not the trick. The UCC was used in the decision of this case, the Uniform Commercial Code, as you see it. Okay? But let's go see what they tell you about the UCC in this case. Okay? Although the contract involving the sale and installation of rebuilt engines for use of existing commercial vessels is maritime in nature and therefore governed by general federal maritime law. The UCC is considered a source for federal admiralty law. And you have the UCC. If it's at the federal level, it's at the state level as well. You understand what I'm saying? So the UCC has been adopted in all the states, all the corporate democracies, all the 50 corporate democracies, the states. So this is what they're using against you. You understand what I'm saying? They're using that against you under the presumption that you carry, that you are that legal fiction. You understand what I'm telling you? So when you get a chance, this is in the OneDrive too. You can go and read about this case, get a better understanding. Like I said, I'm not going too in depth, just giving you stuff that you can go and look at for yourself. Southward Machinery. Bam. It's in the OneDrive, law and related matters. Okay. This right here deals with the law of the flag. Let me tell you a story about this. I got a friend named Brother Calvin down in Texas. He's a good brother, man, construction worker. Calvin had to go to court one day, and I don't know what it was for. It was some type of citation or something. I'm not sure. It's been such a while ago since he told me, but Calvin is ex-military. He's a veteran, and he walked into court, and when the time had come, they called his legal fiction. He stood up, his feet at a 45-degree angle, and he stood at attention, and he replied to the so-called judge, "Sir, yes, sir." So every time the judge was asking him a question, he was replying in a military format. So the judge finally asked him, Why do you keep replying like that? You know, what are you doing? Why are you replying like that?" Calvin said, "Sir," he said, I'm an honorably discharged veteran of, I think Calvin was, I'm not sure what branch he was in, but he said, "I'm an honorably discharged veteran of such and such, so and so armed forces, and I recognize that flag behind you, sir. That is a military flag, which denotes the jurisdiction of where I am, and I recognize you as the officer. You're the officer, the current ranking officer in the jurisdiction, of the vessel." So the judge laughed, banged the gavel, told him case dismissed, uh, and laughed, said, "Get out of my courtroom. Don't come back in here." He walked out. Now, how did he do that? How did Brother Calvin do that? He was able to do it even though he didn't have it on him. But you can read about this case. This deals with the law of the flag. Okay? So when you get a chance, this case is in the OneDrive too. United States, America plaintiff. And look how they have it. All caps. Proper noun. Legal fiction. Proper noun. Legal fiction. Proper noun. This deals with the law of the flag. You can go to this case and learn about the law of the flag. We want to basically cover what it is in the next slide. As you see, law of the flag, the law of the flag doctrine, law of the flag, law of the flag, law of the flag. What is the law of the flag? Because every time you go in their court, or their so-called courts, which are actually banks, you're subjecting yourselves to it and you don't even know it. Okay? Flag, law of. This is Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, revised, 1968. Flag, law of. In maritime law, law of the nation or country whose flag is flown by a particular vessel. A ship owner who sends his vessel into a foreign port gives notice by its flag to all who enter into contracts with the master that he intends the law of that flag to regulate such contracts that they must either submit. Once again, this is the law of the flag. to its operation or not contract with him. And we'll look that case up. Here you go. So that's in Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, 1968, revised. Okay. This right here is a DD 214 for all my military veterans who served time active duty. Certificate of release of discharge from active duty. I'm not sure who this gentleman is, but as you can see down here, DD form 214. Now, what is this? Why would you need to use the DD 214? To my veterans out there, let's take a look. We're gonna go here. Some of y'all familiar with this. We can read that. Some of y'all familiar with this because I told you about it before in regards to DNA. Okay. Okay. Testimony is based on sufficient facts or data. Okay. But let me go to another one. There we go. Rule 702, testimony by expert witness. When it comes to that gold frocked flag, that gold fringe flag, we know what it is. It denotes military jurisdiction. And under the wartime powers of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the democracy denotes military jurisdiction. Admiralty, maritime, military jurisdiction. And the laws of nations in regards to the Propeller Genesee Chief case. In times of war, Admiralty has been known to be invoked for the safety and convenience of commerce. So we know what it is. And your DD 214 will qualify you. A witness who was qualified as an expert by knowledge, boot camp, skill, service, active duty, experience, active duty, training, A school, your training school, you saw that flag everywhere, or education. May testify in the form of an opinion or otherwise, affidavit, if the expert's scientific, technical, or other specialized knowledge, military knowledge, will help the trier of fact to understand the evidence or to determine a fact and issue. Testimony is based on sufficient facts or data. DD 214, proof of claim that you acquired this knowledge. Proof of claim, DD 214, you acquired this knowledge. Testimony is the product of reliable principles and methods. The expert has reliably applied the principles and methods to the facts of the case. Your knowledge, boot camp. We were taught in boot camp that the banner, which we know it as a commercial banner, but they call it a flag, but we know what it is. It's a banner of trade and commerce. But for common vernacular sake, we'll call it what they call it. That flag with the star stripes and blue canton is the flag of peace. When it has the gold fringe around it, it's the flag of war. I was taught this at Naval Recruitment Training Center, RTC Orlando, 1992, when I was in class, boot camp training class, that what you see today is the flag of war. So you know what you're under. In times of war, Admiralty has been known to be invoked for the safety and convenience of commerce. Emergency war powers under essential democracy, doctrine, and necessity. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Go back and research it. Go look it up. Research it. Research it. Research it. Okay? So, as it stands right now, covered everything that I was asked to talk to y'all about. You have the right, according to the government printing office writing style guide. They got all of that there. They show you that the driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, state ID, all of that stuff is fraud. It's legal fictions. Legal fictions cannot have citizenry. They can't. Only trust establishments for geographical locations have citizenry. And the citizenry is established by the natural persons in the geographical location. They're the ones that set up the charters, i.e. state corporations, to be subsidiaries of the Great Charter, the written constitution for the United States of America. So, as of today, if you're not a proper person, you're a legal fiction, none of that stuff applies to you. You are a revenue generating commodity that can be snatched up at any time for questions of prize by those who have letters of marque or reprisal, i.e. so-called policemen, state troopers, things of that nature. And you also need to go and read the Pure 14th Amendment Study 25-page PDF. It breaks it down even further. Basically what they did was they just compounded fraud on top of 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 you, to where you have basically, man, been put on the hull of a ship, bottom of a ship. You're the revenue generating commodity. You're the bottomry. That's what you are for the commerce. And until you come up out of that, you can forget about having any type of remedy. So, once again, like I said, those things I covered, find them in the OneDrive. This is the website. Please feel free to visit there. And I'm getting ready to close this thing down. Wake up. Wake up. It's time to wake up. The dream is over. None comes to sleepers but a dream. Biggie told you it was all a dream. Gap Band told you nothing comes to sleepers but a dream. Wake up. Wake your lazy ass up, turn off the TV, and start studying. Or remain a corporate chattel collateral reward as bottomry for the corporate Admiralty Maritime Military Democracy and the 50 states corporate democracies for their commerce. All right, peace and love. Ashe.